Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'm once again joined by my friend Andy, and we're doing a bit of a Norm Saunders special with some of the classic 1960s sets. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay then, so welcome back, Andy, and you brought some, well, fantastic looking cards for us today.
Yes, hello. Very nice to be back. Norman Saunders special, as you say. He's not the only artist on all these cards. There are others who we'll discuss as well. We're going to focus quite a lot on Mars Attacks, but we are going to look at a couple of others from the same time period, the early 60s.
Yeah.
Unofficially, you could call them the Topps Warfare Trilogy. Mars Attacks being the second one of the three. So we'll start with Civil War News, as it's...
yes, and that's this one here, yeah.
Which is from 1962.
Right.
Now, this set and all of these sets we're going to look at of the 60s ones are really largely put together by people at Topps in America. Woody Gelman, who was the director of product development, and Len Brown, who was a younger guy who started working for Topps in 1959. They wanted to do a set to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the start of the American Civil War, which was April 1961.
Right.
And they thought, how can we sell this set to kids?
Yeah.
Because Topps were always looking for what kids would be into, basically what to sell in the baseball off season, really. And they'd done a historical set before. They'd done one in 1952 called Scoop, which is about historical events. So they thought they'd run with the US Civil War one. Yeah. And what they decided was to make it violent and gory to sell to kids.
Excellent.
As Len Brown quoted, blood and guts and good artwork will win every time. And he was right.
Yeah.
They did very well in the States. The sort of spiritual predecessor to these really was the 1938 Horrors of War set, which was released by Gum Incorporated, which Gelman actually collected as a teenager.
Right.
And sort of brought some into Topps, to the development people, and said, look, let's do something along these lines. Because that set is pretty violent and gory.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures, we'll put some up on the screen as well.
That was kind of the precursor to these in their thoughts. And so they went with these, and started making them in 1961. This is the UK wrapper. They did come out in here as well.
Oh, yeah, it's got the 2D,
That's the UK wrapper. I think the AMBC set, the British set, came out of, that would have been probably about 64, 65.
Right.
Which is these, set of 88 cards.
88, yeah.
Norman Saunders worked on a lot of these. He's not the only artist on them. They actually allocated the work to 4 artists. One was definitely Morris Blumenfeld, who was a pulp covers artist.
Yeah.
He did some of them. They actually had Saunders work on all of them eventually, because when they saw the ones that he was doing, like particularly that one,
the War Stars,
you can see all the brickwork on there. They were very impressed with the detail that Saunders did, and they actually got him to retouch all the other artists' cards to improve them in some way.
And that's the title card. Yeah, what an impact that makes, isn't it? Yeah, it is great.
That's number 3.
Oh, that's number 3, right? I see. Yeah.
This set did come out in Canada, presumably released by O-Pee-Chee. There was also a French language set, which AMBC produced. And we'll get onto some. There was a Spanish language set as well, but we'll get onto that.
So I'm looking at the back here, and they've got the Civil War News there. Is this the chronological history of the war then?
It is.
The story of it, yeah.
It is. They took various battle situations to make dramatic cards, really. The backs were written by Len Brown. He has said that they are 85% fiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, the battles are real.
Yeah.
The dates are real. But the rest of it is largely fictional.
Wow. That's a shame.
Gets the point across. Yeah. And they used a sort of faux Civil War News newspaper headline as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were supposedly designed to be 100 years later after the actual war. Yeah. And that was the reasoning behind them.
Exactly.
And such great artwork. You can sort of see elements of Mars Attacks that I'm familiar with, it already coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
And just really nice, bright, bold. I've never seen a set of these up front before. Yeah. And in the flesh, it's great, isn't it? Have these ever been reprinted?
Not officially.
No. I did.
There are
some bootlegs.
There are
Yeah.
bootleg sets around. There's somebody in London who does them, to be honest.
Oh, right, okay.
You will find them on eBay.
I did not know,
But no,
yeah.
they've never been officially reprinted.
I suppose, unlike the Mars Attacks, it's not telling a story from A to B. Obviously, it's the Civil War historical, but the Mars Attacks perhaps was a more well-rounded story.
Yes. Yeah. But they are very violent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not pulling any punches, are they?
No.
Suicide charge, burst of fire.
But, yeah, I mean that was really the way they wanted them done. Gelman wanted every card to look like a paperback cover.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they're not far off, are they?
Yeah.
Jewels of death.
Lots of dramatic. People being hit point blank by cannons. And
Yeah, absolutely.
it's not deadly defence.
Yeah.
People getting skewered.
Nasty.
There's lots of that in them.
Yeah, but these didn't get withdrawn or anything, no?
No.
Nothing really. They went under the radar.
No, some people weren't too happy with them, but
No.
yeah. And I think
Big old set as well, isn't it? 82.
88.
88, yeah. Oh, and I see it's got a checklist.
Yeah, there's a checklist card.
We don't often see
It's a
those,
British
do we?
checklist card.
And looks like someone's penciled yours in, Andy.
Yeah.
I bet it's really rare to get the checklist.
It's more pricey.
Yeah.
Now, this is the insert.
Money,
This is the insert set. Yeah.
Okay.
You had one of these in every pack. We had 15 of these.
Right.
The States had 17. Two extra ones. They had an extra $5 one and an extra $20 one. We'll probably show the pictures of the ones that the UK didn't get. The French language set, which A&BC did, also just had 15.
Right.
There was also a Spanish language set that Topps released, I believe in Spain.
Yeah.
That wasn't until 1968, and that had, again, 15 of these. But most of the cards on that set were redrawn, less violent.
Right.
Completely different artwork on most of them.
Interesting.
But that does exist as well.
So were these like folded inside the package?
Yeah.
Confederate money.
They're not exact copies of real Confederate banknotes.
No.
They're approximations made up by the Topps art department. They used elements from real ones. They're not copies of the real thing, but they're pretty good looking.
I wonder why they decided on that. I mean, just for fun, a bit of a gimmick.
They'd already started putting inserts in baseball cards by that time. Just a bit of extra for kids.
Yeah. Did these come with gum as well?
Oh yeah.
So it was gum, the cards, and the money. It's quite a package, isn't it?
Yeah. It was the fairly early days of them doing insert sets, and they went down very well with kids.
Bet.
Yeah,
I bet they did. Yeah. I can imagine if I was a kid getting some of the money, that would be like Monopoly money or something.
Indeed.
Oh, fantastic.
But that's the 15 British ones.
Right then, 100, 500, and 1,000.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now I can see teasing underneath.
Here we are.
Mars Attacks.
The real deal. Not a real wrapper.
Right.
That is a reproduction.
But that's what the British one looked like.
I've never been, and I'm not a rich man. I can't afford a real one of those. I do remember seeing one once at one of the memorabilia fairs in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Cards Inc. Remember them?
Yeah.
Company. They had one for sale on their stall at £1,000.
Wow.
And this is back in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And that was bought at the fair by another dealer.
Wow.
That's the only one I've ever seen in the wild.
Incredible. Yeah.
That's a pretty nice repro of the British.
It is a nice repro, yeah.
Penny wrapper.
But this is the set, isn't it? This is perhaps one of the most famous sets that's ever been made, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bubblegum cards.
It's a set that's just totally crossed over into popular culture.
Yeah,
now.
absolutely iconic.
The 90s.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of merchandise out there.
So I'm assuming, Andy, that this is the British set.
This is the UK set, yeah. Came out in America. Topps released it under their Bubbles Incorporated mark.
Okay.
It also came out as Bubbles Inc. in the UK. That's something they used for sets they were a little bit unsure about what the reaction was going to be.
Right.
So they didn't want the Topps name on there. I think the first one they ever did was the Elvis Presley set back in '56.
Yeah.
And they used it for these. Set of 55 came out in America in 1962.
Yeah.
A&BC, I think about 64, 65. There's also a Spanish language set, which had a couple of cards missing, no number 11 or number 19. They're from 1966. Apparently came out in Argentina.
Wow.
Maybe Mexico as well, not really sure.
Yeah.
But that set was only 53.
Incredible. That's such a great card, that one. One of my favourites. Yeah.
There is a version under the name Attack from Space rather than Mars Attacks. That was how it was first originated at Topps. They changed it to Mars Attacks because they thought it looked and sounded more dramatic on the packets. But there is an incredibly rare Attack from Space version, which they used to test market.
Right.
Topps had... they're based in Brooklyn, New York. They had half a dozen stores in Brooklyn in which they used to test market sets.
Right.
They used to take them, literally by hand. I think Len Brown used to drive around to these local stores, give them some boxes each, see how the kids reacted to them when they got out of school. He would phone them sort of late afternoon and say, how did they sell? And that is literally how they did the test marketing.
Incredible.
So there was a very small number made of it under the Attack from Space name.
Wow. That's so good, aren't they?
They went well.
Yeah.
They were rolled out to a larger market, but not nationwide because they'd start getting too much flack over the violence and gore in them. And the cards were actually toned down before they were released.
Really?
Ones like this.
Yeah.
And Norman Saunders did a lot of these. He did about 80% of the set.
Yeah.
There were other artists who worked on them. Morris Blumenfeld definitely worked on them. Jeffrey Biggs, who's another pulp artist, apparently, according to Len Brown, he did some work on them. But Saunders did a lot.
Yeah.
That one's Saunders. That's one that had to be toned down before it was released because Saunders, being the good old pulp artist he was not shy of showing a bit of female flesh.
Bit of cleavage in that one.
So they had to
vaguely
be
remember.
amended before they were released. The ladies had to be covered up.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're okay to show them people being like charred by marshes.
Yeah, but they are really, they're still really violent.
They are, yeah, absolutely. What I remember with this one is it's just a great entertaining story.
Yeah.
The actual story is just so good.
Yeah.
And another great card in it, Prize Captive, another classic.
Yeah, but they did start
everyone, isn't it?
They did start getting kickback in America, and they weren't very widely released there.
No,
not as wide as some sets anyway. They didn't roll them out to other markets because what Topps used to do, their marketing policy was to release them in certain markets, and if they did, release them in other markets, and it was done step by step.
Right, treading carefully.
Yeah. But it didn't go nationwide.
No,
it just didn't happen.
I mean, they are just so good.
Yeah, I mean, as we discussed with the Batman set, what Saunders and other artists did was paint over Bob Powell pencils.
Right.
I mean, the original artist for the design of the Martians, they contacted Wally Wood.
Right. Oh yeah, we know
because
him. Yeah.
What Len Brown remembered was the cover of Weird Science 16, the EC comic from 1952, which has got a sort of bulbous-headed alien on it.
We'll pop that one up.
Yeah. And they took from that, which is why they got Wally Wood to sort of do the very initial designs, some of which were used, some not, which we'll get to in a minute. And then Bob Powell did pencil sketches. They chose which ones of his pencil sketches they liked the best. Then he would do a much tighter pencil version,
right?
And then the artist would paint over them.
Amazing.
So that's how the art was actually constructed.
That is a favourite of mine.
Yeah.
Horror in Paris with the giant.
Yeah. The other
bug.
Influence on the look of the actual aliens themselves was the Metaluna mutant from This Island Earth.
All right, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other main interest on the look at them.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
They're so good, aren't they? Now, are the British ones slightly smaller than the American?
Yes, as usual, A and BC work with a slightly smaller size.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still fantastic, aren't they? They really are. Yeah. And did we have a checklist card?
Yeah, so a checklist for that one up there. Yeah.
Is that one there?
That's the checklist. Yeah. Filled in again.
Yeah.
A little bit in pencil.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
So, yeah, it's a pretty nice set.
It's an incredible set, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
Price-wise these days, one sold in September on American eBay, about the same condition as mine, I would say, for nearly the equivalent of nearly £2,000.
Really?
So
wow.
I don't know if they always go for that much when you can get them cheaper or not, but
blimey.
Maybe they have overtaken Beatles Yellow Submarine as the top dog again in terms of what people are prepared to pay. They're certainly very pricey. Very, very pricey.
Yeah, but there's definitely been reprints, hasn't there, of those?
There are, which
Yeah.
we will get to.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Steady
all right.
boy.
No worries.
Steady on boy. Yeah. But there were, yes, 1984 were the first reprints, actually. We will see one of them shortly. Topps did consider releasing a toned-down version in the 60s. They actually had some of the artists retouch 13 of the cards to remove excessive gore and sexual overtones.
Right.
That project was abandoned, but those 13 cards were released in 1984 by a company called Rosem Enterprises as Mars Attacks, the unpublished version, 1,000 sets. I don't actually have that set, but we can put some pictures of the fronts and backs, and those cards are reprinted in a book again, which we'll get onto later.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So here's Battle,
Yes.
which is the third of this kind of unofficial warfare trilogy. Obviously, the American Civil War cards sold very well. Mars Attacks, in their limited way, sold well.
Yeah.
But there was pressure not to continue with them, so they thought they'd try World War II. These didn't sell so well, actually, although they were a very nice set, well thought of, but they didn't do the business. So this is the last time they did anything like this for many years.
Yeah.
They went on to more humour sets, obviously the sports sets, Topps, and licensed characters, licensed TV shows and things like that. But this is Battle. So this came out in America in 1964. I think AMBC, which is the set we're going to look at, the British set, 1965. They're not identical sets, which we will discuss in a second. Norman Saunders again did art on, I think, 46 of the 66 cards. That's the American set was 66.
Yeah.
The British set is actually more cards. 73, which I'll detail a little bit when we go through the set. So
we got the wrapper.
We've got two different wrappers, actually, the British ones. One mentions the free military emblems, these.
Which are those,
and there is a wrapper which doesn't mention them. I have no idea why. Whether they're only in there for part of the release or not, I don't know.
Yeah, same price, isn't it? Yeah.
Can't say one wrapper's particularly rarer than the other. Not really sure about that.
But just a little variation.
Really sure.
And what are these then? These are emblems,
These
aren't they?
are UK military emblems.
Right.
The American one had US military emblems,
that makes sense,
24 of them. And there was a checklist card as well for those. But there's no checklist card in the British set for these. But again, there were 24. This is a complete set.
Yeah. And these are different regiments.
Yeah,
of
that
course.
sort of thing. Yeah, I think you could stick them down.
They're very thin paper, aren't they?
There's one per pack of these.
Right. Wow.
So that's a set of 24, which is a bit tricky to put together.
I bet.
It can be done.
Okay.
And here we are, the actual set. So again, fantastic Saunders artwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really great on a lot of them. These are, again, very violent. They're not bloody like the Civil War or Mars Attacks. They tone that down, but they are violent for sure. And very dramatic again, very pulpy. I mean, it's like looking at your books of men's adventure covers, isn't it? Yeah. It's very much along those sort of lines. Things of the period.
Great artwork.
As I say, 66 in the American set, 73 the British set.
Right.
Because what the ANBC did in the UK was add some cards which are more British-centric.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
We'll see them later. The artwork is noticeably worse.
Right.
There were 3 US cards which didn't come over to the British set. There was a US sailor, US paratrooper, and the US military emblems checklist. So there's 3 we didn't get. I'll just stop at this page in a second. But yeah, cards basically in the UK set 54 to 64 were produced by AMBC. And they're different, so they expanded the set. Now, there was trouble in the UK about this set in the 60s. There was, I think the News of the World had a double-page spread one Sunday about these terrible cards and some of the images of them. And 4 of them were actually withdrawn.
Wow. Okay.
That one was withdrawn. We'll see the others, I think, on the next page.
Confession by force.
Yeah, some woman being whipped. That one's withdrawn. The withdrawn ones aren't particularly rare. Don't be fooled into thinking you've got to pay an absolute premium for these 4 British withdrawn ones. They must have been on sale quite a while before this happened, because they're not really rare. What is rare is there was an amended checklist card, which just has those 4. We'll see the card in a minute.
Yeah.
But those are left off the amended checklist card, basically. They're blank lines. The amended checklist card's the scarce one.
Right.
The other 3 which withdrawn are that one.
Death Blow.
Yeah, that one.
Fiery Death.
And the Torture Chamber. They were the 4 that were
Blimey.
withdrawn partway through production.
Wow.
Okay. And you see down here, that's the first of the UK ones.
Right,
Dunkirk.
so they mentioned Dunkirk, right.
Yeah.
Even the box is slightly smaller,
Yes.
isn't it? The font and that. So you can sort of see it's been added on.
Yeah. So that's the other 9
Yeah.
UK ones.
I mean, they're not too bad, but like you say, they're not the same.
They're not the same quality.
No.
But they focus more on the Battle of Britain's and UK
Yeah.
forces and Commonwealth forces and so on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Monty, I think, is the last one.
So they added him in, yeah.
So then we're back to the tops ones. But they're a very nice set.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah. Again, never been reissued. There are bootlegs available.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the battle checklist. And the withdrawn ones, they're blank lines.
Right. Incredible.
Yeah.
What a great set. Yeah.
Very nice.
Lovely.
Okay.
So Mars Attacks again.
Mars Attacks reprint. Yeah. Now this is from 1984. As I say, the
84,
the unpublished
right.
versions ones were released.
Right.
But also these were released. This is a first real reprint set.
Yeah.
They were reprinted by a company called Renata Galasso Incorporated, based in Brooklyn. Now Renata Galasso, she was a card dealer.
Oh, right.
That's based in the same area as Tops, so she obviously must have knew and got on with the people there.
Yeah.
And they let her do this reprint set, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite a nice little set.
I wonder if this is the reprint set I've got. Yeah, I mean, it looks exactly the same.
obviously you can tell
And it
from
does
the
say
back that-
official Mars Attacks reprint.
So it wasn't a
I think this
bootleg,
is the set I've got.
it was the real thing.
Yeah.
It was a real licensed item.
But I would imagine even this reprint set's a few quid nowadays.
A few quid, yeah.
Yeah.
And the colours are more vibrant as
They
well.
are, yeah,
Obviously
comparing this price cap to it.
Yeah.
It looks a bit sharper, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
More vibrant than the originals.
And they've not been through little children's hands, I
As
guess.
well.
Yeah. To dirty them up a little bit.
But that's the first reprint.
Lovely. Such a good series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And they added the
And an extra card with the American wrapper.
the 5 cents.
Okay.
Right.
So now we're going to jump to the 90s.
Yes.
So this is Mars Attacks Archives. So this is the first Tops reprint set that they actually produced themselves.
Yeah.
Can't lay my hands on a wrapper for one of these, but basically the wrapper looked like that.
It sort of a
It's
foily,
like that.
a full size,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
The
Yeah.
artwork on that one is actually by Zena Saunders, Norman Saunders' daughter.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go.
She worked on some of the cards. So this is a set of 100 cards. The title card there is actually number 0.
Right.
And then they start from 1 first.
With the classic numbering.
The classic
Yeah.
set, yeah.
Okay.
This classic set, some of them, you'll see here, have this little foil mark. They are first day production cards.
Yeah.
You had 1 in every 9 packs. They only did them for the original 55 cards.
Yeah.
Tops did package them up as a promotional set as well, those 55
Really?
first day production ones.
Yeah. And they go for a bit extra.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But there's
Tough set to get those together, I
a
would
little
imagine.
bit, yeah. I mean, this set was put together from packs at the time, which is why
Yeah.
a few of mine do have that. little
Yeah,
foil.
mine is exactly the same,
Little foil
actually.
imprint.
Yeah. I remember this was the first. I bought the box of this when they came out.
Yes, I did.
And I didn't get a set.
Did you not?
I didn't get a set. I was bloody really annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've kept them. They're really nice. I think I was missing one, or I'm missing one now. But at the time I missed 3. I couldn't believe it.
Pick that up, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, a few like mine, a few have got the first day releases.
So it just goes through.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Reprints
Like
the
Horror in
first 55.
Paris. Yeah, they've definitely really sharpened them up, haven't they?
Yeah.
Nice glossy covers as well.
And then you get on to other cards. So
This is like an extra, isn't
got
it?
these ones here. Now, these are known as the Unpublished 11.
Right.
They were actually commissioned in 1989, these next 11 cards. Art by Herb Trimpe, artist, and Earl Norem. Very Earl Norem. Norem was an illustrator. He did do quite a few covers for Marvel Black and White magazines in the 70s. Topps were thinking of reissuing these at the end of the 80s. Took them another 5 years to actually do it.
Right.
But that's what these are. Known as the Unpublished 11.
Very, very nice.
They worked from original sort of Wallywood sketches, and Bob Powell sketches that weren't used at the time.
Right.
So that ends with that.
Yeah.
And then you've got contemporary comic artists doing their own
take.
Yeah. Quite a few of those.
Yeah.
I think there's about 22 of these.
Wow, is there? Yeah.
You could actually, some good artists. There's Simon Bisley, John Bolton, all sorts of people. I think that one's Zena Saunders. That's putting herself in the picture there. There was a limited edition autographed set of these.
All right.
Each one autographed by the artist that you could buy with an album. Topps did do that as well, which I think is very pricey.
I can imagine, yeah.
Drew Friedman there.
Yeah, lovely, aren't they, actually? Yeah, really, really nice
stuff.
These are all the artist ones, yeah.
Sam Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Miran Kim, who used to do a lot of the X-Files cards at the time.
Ah, yes.
Jeff Darrow. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Here we go, that one's Zena Saunders. Yeah.
Lovely.
And lastly, Norman Saunders' historical self-portrait. Yeah, that's the last card. Then you've got these four, which are the Topps Matrix cards.
Right.
And there's one in every 18 packs of those.
Right.
Basically foil cards.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we go on to promos and the like.
Yes.
I've got every promo. Some of these actually came out in advance of the set being released, like the year before.
So in magazines
and
things.
That's a scratch one. You could win an original set, I think, an original 1962 set.
Really?
If that card was a winner. They came with card magazines, like Cards Illustrated, Non-Sport Update, things like that.
Yeah.
There's loads of other cards from this sort of period. The Screaming model kits, they had cards. There's about 8 of those, and promo versions as well.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the Screaming cards.
All right.
The books, there were 2 Del Rey hardbacks.
Yeah.
They had 2 bounding cards in each of them.
Wow.
I'll take mine out. I do have them.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of odds and sods, but that's just a sample, 9 different ones from the around the period.
Yeah.
And there's an oversized one, which I think that was bound into an issue of Previews.
Yeah, Previews, yeah.
As you can see.
And Non-Sport Update and things like that, Cards Illustrated. Yeah, the mags of the time.
Yeah, indeed.
Brilliant. And then, that was probably a Previews one, wasn't it?
Yeah. And here we are.
The movie.
The movie, which of course was made by Tim Burton, directed by Tim Burton, who was moved to make it when he saw the 1994 set.
Wow, enjoyed it so much. Yeah,
that's what really got him interested in Mars Attacks, not rather than the original set.
No.
When the movie came out a couple of years later, 1996, here we are. Topps Wide Vision.
Ah, yes, which was all the rage, or sort of quite new back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 72.
Yeah.
Thought I'd bring these along as well. I like the movie.
It's great, isn't it?
I like it. It's not perfect.
No, I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember the last time I did, it was pretty good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like the humour in it, and it's not to everybody's taste, but I like it. Good stuff. Yeah. The Martians do look pretty much like they
do, don't they? Yeah.
They're a bit smaller. They made them a bit smaller physically in height, but they work well. All right. Yeah, so lots of great scenes from the film.
Yes, indeed. It had quite a cast as well, didn't it? Yeah. Quite a cast. Yeah. And Topps did go on to do other Mars Attacks sets.
after these. Really, within the last 10 years, they did a
Yeah.
set called Mars Attacks Heritage in 2012, Mars Attacks Invasion in 2013, Mars Attacks Occupation in 2016, and Mars Attacks Revenge in 2017. So they've kept putting Mars Attacks sets out. I do have some of them. I haven't brought them along because we can't really do them justice here.
No.
But yeah, they do exist as well.
Fantastic.
There we go. Lots of behind-the-scenes shots as well.
Ah, yes. Brilliant.
You've got your checklist card.
And a checklist. Yeah.
And then you've got the Destructorama cards, which are those, basically foil ones again.
The foil premium sort of ones, yeah.
One in every 9 packets. And that's a couple of the promos.
Brilliant.
Yeah. There is actually another promo very similar to that one. I do have it. I've just mislaid it at the moment. It's got a red Mars Attacks logo there, and the back of it is the same as the back of that one. But there's a third one.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, a few bits of related memorabilia here, Andy, by the look of it.
Just a little bit. We were just talking about the later top sets. So we have Mars Attacks Heritage here, sealed box, and a promotional poster. Just to see what it likes. And this one was done actually for the 50th anniversary in 2012.
Fantastic. And that's the shop display poster.
That's the shop display poster, yeah.
Nice.
People may remember these, the little mini comics by Pocket Comics, who I think was something to do with Fantaco, who were the New York distribution place, did a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah.
These came out in 1988, if I remember rightly. The idea was they were going to do one mini comic for every original card.
Wow.
There were going to be 55 of them. Only these 4 ever came out. They were sold in counter boxes, 2 at a time. So you'd get 1 and 2 one month, 3 and 4 the next month. That was it. Right. Sadly, that's all that was ever made. But you can pick them up. You know, they're not too hard to get. But it didn't take off.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unusual, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very unusual.
And something else, we mentioned the Renata Galasso reprint set from 1984. Other than the actual cards themselves, they also did these 4 postcards of original artwork without any sort of trade dress.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see the whole picture.
Right.
That's the 4. So, for instance,
lovely, yeah.
if you look at the original cards, you can't see that guy's got his bayonet sticking in Martian. It's covered up. You can't see this guy being electrocuted on the train tracks.
Because it's
on the
covered,
subway
yeah.
tracks. Yeah. So it's nice to see those with all the original artwork
Brilliant.
displayed without any.
And these were in 1989, you said?
4.
1984. Oh, yeah.
Came with the Renata Galasso.
Wow.
And a nice little item as well.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a book that I've always loved. It's 10 years ago you said this was first published.
2012,
Certainly one that I've enjoyed. It's all the tops reprinted, and it's got some more cards in there as well. And to be honest, this is the way I mainly read this set, because you got the back's nice and big. It's just a great way to enjoy this classic set, isn't it? You know, and I've out of all the Topps books, this is one of my favourite. This one and the original Star Wars cards.
I think this was the first one they did, actually.
Was it? Yeah, so it gives you a bit of a background on it.
It does, it's really good.
And it's still in print, this, isn't it?
You can
still get it, yeah.
You can still get it.
So it gives you some of the early...
There's a Horror of War card.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Some of the others that influenced Len Brown. Yeah.
Great book, this. That's an American wrapper.
Yeah. The only one known to survive, I think.
What, a sealed...
A complete pack, yeah.
Really?
Sealed pack, yeah.
And then it goes into the main series. Yeah. I think it does do the archive ones, doesn't it? As well?
It does some elements of them, yes.
Yeah. There we are. Original, sort of new and original visions, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
extra cards,
and the Trimpy ones. The original artwork ones, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Let's see who did all the artwork.
John Bolton, Jeff Darrow. Yeah, they got some good names in to do it, didn't they?
Yeah, that's one of the promos. So these are cards that came with the Screaming model kits.
Yes, indeed. Yes, a great book, this one.
Yeah.
comics, yeah.
That we just saw, the little comics. Yeah, slightly later promos. These are the ones that came in the Del Rey.
Oh, yeah, the Del Rey books, yeah.
So these are some of the original sketches that they still have. Hollywood sketches.
From the archives, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
How incredible.
Yeah. Bob Powell ones as well. Concepts that weren't used, although some of them were used in the Topps comics.
Yeah.
Topps did the comics at this time. In the Mars, there's an Attack from Space boxes. The original.
Yes.
Yeah. In the Mars Attacks archive sets, there was actually a redemption card to buy for one of the Topps comics. Actually, it was issue 1 with a gold logo.
All right.
Yeah. So it's quite a rare card. It was one in every 360 packs.
Wow.
And there was also a Zenas Saunders autograph card as well, with 2,000 of those made.
Wow.
I don't have one of those. But they were in Mars Attacks archives too.
Right.
Now, these are the cards that we mentioned that were toned down by the artists as for a potential reissue of the cards in the 60s, but they're not actually done. So these are the toned down versions, which were released by Rose M as Mars Attacks, the unpublished version, back in '84. Yeah, but these are they. And there's Norman Saunders.
There he is.
If you remember the original, that's a lady.
Yeah.
Changed to a man, and that's actually a Norman Saunders self-portrait.
Nice.
Yeah. That's changed to a boy rather than a woman.
Yeah.
This is what they were asked to do, but never actually used at the time in the end. There you go.
Excellent. What a great book that is.
Yeah.
Really, really great
An
book.
original cell sheet there.
Yeah. Wow. So, recommended.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. And you can still get this one from Amazon. But here is another enormous book, Andy.
This is the Norman Saunders.
This is a beast, isn't it?
Book by his son. I think we mentioned this in the Batman video.
Right,
This is the
with
book
cards.
itself, with a promotional little card set as well. Which
Okay.
I believe you can still get from normansaunders.com. Just check him out just in advance of the book. Nice little 54 card set, limited to 1,000, I think.
Yeah.
That's how they came, just in that little box. But yeah, this book's incredible. Covers everything he did. Pulp covers, paperbacks covers, as you can see.
Yeah.
There's masses in there. Comic book covers and the trade.
Loads of it. Yeah. Well, we won't go through the entire hundreds of pages, but we'll have a bit of a flick through.
Yeah, we've got a checklist there.
Yeah. We'll have a look at some of the
These
stuff.
are the sort of things he did for
You got the end, yeah.
US President's set. Flags of the World, I've got that set. Yeah. There we go.
There he is.
There's the lad himself.
Obviously, a bit of Mars Attacks, of course.
She did the Mars Attacks logo as well. The bloody logo. Lots of pulp covers, magazine covers.
Yeah, Men's Adventure.
Man's book. Yeah, you know the sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's tons of them.
And his book jackets, paperbacks, pulps.
Great comic covers he did.
Yeah, it's a great book, this one. I think I'm going to have to track this one down.
It's up your street, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll put a link to this one in the description down below, so if anyone wants to follow it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it was very late 20s he actually started.
Wow.
Yeah, so he goes back quite a way.
Fantastic.
And he died in 1990, I think.
Right. Lovely. And I see you got a deck of cards, a set of cards, Andy.
Yeah, we do just have the little promotional set of cards.
And this came out about the same time as this book.
Yeah,
did
just
it?
in advance of the book, as I recall. So have a look. But it's basically stuff that's in
The best of the coverage.
Yeah, that sort of thing. There is a Mars Attacks one in there.
Oh, well, that's worth the price of admission alone.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know that was one of his. That's a famous Avon cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And there we are. Oh, great stuff. There he is.
There he is.
Very, very nice indeed.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Norman Saunders.
Wow. Well, what a selection today,
his
Andy.
life and work.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So, well, thank you for bringing all that in. There's loads to look at. Any thoughts about next time then?
I think next time we'll start dipping into the world of Jerry Anderson.
Jerry Anderson. Excellent, excellent. I shall look forward to that indeed. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming along today. I hope you've enjoyed this particularly excellent episode at home. If you have, do please give the video a thumbs up, and do please hit that subscribe button if you're not already for regular vintage trading card action. And we'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.
Bye.